Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Wednesday, the 30th of April, 2025, the final day of the week of streaming for me, which is bizarre to say. It's weird to actually say that because typically a week for me runs Sunday through Friday. So to have Wednesday be my actual final streaming day of the week just feels odd, to be honest. Okay. Um, if you're wondering why this was my final streaming day of the week, it's just scheduling. Like, I've trying to have Saturday be my consistent day off for a long time now, like many, many months, and it has worked for the most part. But sadly, there's just certain things that are like impossible to do on a Friday. You know what I'm saying? There's just some things that you just can't do on a Friday. For example, or excuse me, on a Saturday. Sorry about that. For example, there's just certain doctors, right? That you're never going to be able to actually like get an appointment because these doctors are so sought out um that everyone tries to get those appointments. And so therefore, if they even have appointments on a Saturday, good luck getting them. In addition to that, there are some doctors that just don't have appointments on Saturdays. Okay. Now that's just one example. Okay. There's other examples of other things as well that you just can't really do on a weekend. So there's been some weeks, if you haven't noticed, where my wife and I have taken off Fridays and Saturdays, and we've tried to cram all of the things we need to do that we can't do on a Saturday into the Friday. It also doesn't always work. This is just a case where it's an oddball situation. I have to have a Thursday off. And because I need that Thursday off, it basically means that my week is really weird, right? Like it is, let's be honest. This has been a very bizarre week of odd lengthed uh stuff. Right? Like this week we did Disco Elysium, which I do usually once a week, but it ended up not working. We did a Lego stream, which again, that's an oddball thing, right? That we usually don't do. So it kind of was a really odd week. Like I didn't do any multiplayer this week at all. And that feels odd to me. Okay. So let's talk about how today did go, what we did do, what worked, what didn't. All right. Today we did a level 1 podcast in the morning that had a couple of quick news stories, including a free DLC for Sea of Stars and a delay of a game that was in development. I was well aware that there was going to be a Borderlands 4 kind of special presentation, but it was going to happen in the middle of the afternoon during my stream. So I said, hey, if I get a chance, maybe I'll watch it over my days off and we'll talk about it maybe on Saturday's podcast. And we just had some chill times. We talked about some various different things. We actually looked at some of the games people have nominated for the upcoming Viewers' Choice Marathon event when we hit 50 goals of support. It was a pretty chill podcast, all right? Then we played Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Great stream today. All story progress. Okay? We went to the Gestals, I think they're called. So we went to the land of the Gestals, and first there was a whole big dungeon area outside. Then we got to the city. We investigated the city. There was a tournament. After that, we went further on. We were going into the next plot. Great visuals, great story developments. We got a new party member recruited that plays differently from the other party members. So in general, really great stream. And even though, I'll be honest, we're not getting giant amounts of viewers for this game. We're not. On YouTube, we're getting between 150 to 200 viewers. On Kick, we're probably getting around 60 viewers, okay? So we're probably getting around 200 total viewers for the game. But people are very supportive for it, okay? We exceeded my first goal. We got to the point where it was almost like we hit almost 2 goals. I want to say we hit like $230 or something like that by the end of the stream, which is amazing. So thank you guys who were there. I know there is an audience for Expedition 33. The thing is, because it's a turn-based RPG, it's not a ginormous, dominant mainstream audience. But there is an audience for it that is enjoying it. I'm one of them. I'm one of the people who's thoroughly enjoying this game and want to keep playing it. So I will for now, and I hope that it does continue to get support, okay? The videos are live. You can check them out right now on the channel. Good progress. So tonight, you may have noticed what we were doing tonight in the setup. Tonight on the late stream, it was Build with Phil, the second half of the Lego Piranha Plant build. And as you can see, it was very fun. We actually got it all done tonight. This is the Piranha plant. It is adjustable and maneuverable. You can move the head around to do different expressions. You can actually have the mouth be opened or closed, depending on how you want it to look. You can simulate original Super Mario Brothers and actually like open his mouth all the way so it looks like Mario's jumping over. You can bite him in the butt. Okay. It's a pretty cool one. I'll be honest, it's not as tight or secure as some other Legos that I've done. It feels a little on the looser side, but I think they kind of intended it to be that way so it's more maneuverable. I do like how it looks, and it fits perfectly into my background. And so that will be part of my background for the month of May. I don't know where it's going to be, if it's going to stay there, if it's going to go to this side. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to think about it and I'll put it somewhere. It'll look good. Rest assured, no matter where it ends up, it's going to look good in May. Okay? Fair enough? Now, all that being said, I had a great time building Legos. Over the month of February into early March, we did this Lego succulent set, and that was 3 whole streams, all of which were supported and hit the goals. Then I built a Lego Minecraft set that was back here over the month of April during my birthday marathon, and that was one of the most well-supported things that I've ever done, okay? I told you guys, if people show up, engage, and support for Lego nights, for the Piranha plant, and it was only 2 nights for the record, only 2 streams, we would lock in and I would 100% commit to doing another Lego. Okay? We didn't hit the goal tonight. We didn't even get halfway to the goal. And in fact, there was a bunch of troll tips from an idiot who was doing dollar tip, who's already charged me back for the dollar tips because he's an idiot. You know, he was only doing it to be a dick. He saw that we weren't getting the support. He's like, ha, I'll just distract Phil with a bunch of dollar tips. And then he charged them all back. So in reality, we probably only did around $60 of support tonight, okay? Truth is, the audience that was here was pretty engaged. We had some good conversation. I really enjoyed talking with everyone and hanging out with everyone while I was also building the Piranha plant. I think the Piranha plant looks great. And what I was telling everyone was that if we hit the goal, what I was eyeballing was either like another video game related one, maybe another Mario one for the launch of the Switch, or a Mario Kart related one. They actually do have various Mario Kart related ones, like there's a Donkey Kong and stuff like that. But also, I was thinking there's a new one that they just announced. Now, it's expensive as hell. It's $170, but it's a giant Mario on a giant Mario Kart. It's 1,500 pieces. So it's 3 times as many pieces as this guy. So you can imagine how big it would be, like my whole backdrop, right? And I thought it would be perfect. I thought, oh, this would be great because this will be a good setup for Mario Kart coming out in early June with the Switch 2. It didn't convince anyone, all right? And it's funny because people are like, well, why don't you keep doing Legos? Well, I probably will, but it's not going to be on stream. You know what I'm saying? Like, I probably will continue to do some Legos. And maybe I'll do some Legos with my wife, right? You know, maybe I could do it that way. But when I try to consider what is it that I'm going to do on a stream, it has to satisfy 3 criteria. I just did 4. 3 criteria. Criteria number 1 is, will people actually just show up for it? Criteria number 2 is, despite the fact that people showed up, will they engage? Will they talk with me? Will they like the stream? Will they watch the videos after the fact? Will they like the videos? Will they leave comments? Because that's all important to successful content on the internet. And then the third factor, will they support it? Okay? I told everyone way ahead of time. I hope that no one's disappointed. I said, just show up, engage and support with the Lego content. I'm happy to continue doing it because some of the builds I want to do, notably this Mario Kart build, is going to be really pricey. I need it to be supported. And it didn't happen. Okay? So it is what it is. Piranha Plant, for now, will be my final Lego build. Maybe someone will convince me otherwise. You know, there's always a chance. I always want to say to people, even though maybe I've come to a determination or whatever, there's always a chance. There's always a chance that things could change or turn around. Yeah, my attitude could flip. Someone convinces me. Sometimes people actually support after the fact. I've seen that, right? Like, people can't be there for the stream, but they're upset because they really like it. So then days later, they support and say, hey, you know, this was for that. Can you still do it? I don't know. I don't foresee that happening. I think that the Lego idea was an interesting idea because it broke up my normal content of gameplay. But much like what has happened with Smart Guys, The initial idea of seeing me do something different works, but when it becomes a more regular thing, it doesn't feel special anymore. Since this is the third Lego I've built this year, since I've now spent so many streams doing it, people aren't that excited for it anymore. Even though, arguably, I think this is the best Lego build I've done. I really like how the piranha plant looks. I just don't think anyone's like, wow, this is cool anymore, right? You already saw me do these multiple times. You know what it's going to be. And it's not really interesting except for the hardcore, let's chill with Phil style audience. Smart Guys was the same. People wanted to see me have a show where I interact with someone else while talking about pro wrestling. It worked for around 4 months, and then the interest waned. So it's kind of the same deal. If you haven't been paying attention to my podcast recently, someone had an interesting idea. Instead of me doing all these dedicated shows to new ideas, instead, I might start doing an actual variety show. You know how I do variety gameplay and it works? What if I did a show where maybe I do it 2-3 times a month, maybe once a week? It's a day stream for the record, so it's the whole major stream. But I always do something different. One week, we actually talk and get caught up about pro wrestling and what's been going on. The next week, I have guests on the show, and they come in and we have conversations about life and gaming and all kinds of stuff via Discord. And then the next week, I do a Lego build while I chill with you guys and we relax. And then the next week, we do, you know what I'm saying? Now, we could have recurring topics, but it wouldn't always be the same thing. That way, it always feels like it's something fresh, it's something new, it's something different. And that way, people hopefully won't get burnt out on any of the ideas. It could work. It could be successful. Maybe that's the way to go moving forward because people always express they want to see me do some new stuff. But then once I do it for a while, they get tired of it. So maybe that's the key factor here. I don't know. All right. Let's start talking about it on Saturday. And in addition, on Saturday, like I said, when I come back on that podcast, we'll probably look at Borderlands 4 and more. When I come back, there'll be a new backdrop for the new month. That'll be exciting. All right, guys. So thank you for a great shortened streaming week. I'm off tomorrow. I'm off on Friday. I come back on Saturday to a chill level 1 podcast, including those topics we just talked about. More Oblivion Remastered on the first stream, and the return of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on the late stream. One big reminder, we're currently at 42 out of 50 goals hit. When we hit 50 support goals, it's time for a marathon of Viewer's Choice, which you guys are nominating games for right now. The sooner we hit the sooner we can do the marathon. So let's come back strong. A 7-day streaming week next week. Let's hit those goals right away. Let's get momentum. Let's get that marathon going as soon as possible. Everyone, I wish you a safe and fun Thursday and Friday. I'll be back Saturday morning. Peace out. Have a good night. I'll see you later.